What's up? What's up? It's been a while, but hey, good things come to those who wait. And I have with me the famous and infamous Angela Branch. Angela, thank you so much for finally being able to spend some time with me today.
Of course. It's
Cool.
always
All
a
right.
pleasure.
We're going to cover today. Angela has won, earned, killed it. Uh, $23,000, $23,000 that she has won in pitch contests, right? Three different contests. Angela, you mentioned 3,000 the first one and $10,000 twice. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. Well, 3,500 the first one.
3,500 the first
Yes.
one, and then 10 and 10. So
Yes.
awesome, Blossom. And that is just wild. Who here would like an extra 20 plus $1,000? It's like, show me the money. Show me the
I need
money.
another 20 plus.
Because one thing that Angela and I were talking about, that money may come, but it goes just as fast, right? But it's
Exactly.
a great way to buffer. It's a great way to get those nice big pops, right? From the daily facials of $100 or the whatever service you're providing. If you can get an influx of 3,500, 10,000, it helps one, buffer your business, two, try some new things, and three, money's just good. So first of all, Angela, thanks a bunch again. Pitch contest. What in God's green earth is a pitch contest?
So basically, you go in front of some judges and you pitch your business, and to get them to invest in you. So that's what the money was for. They were investing in my business based off of how I sold them on what I do and why it's needed, like why they need to buy into what I'm doing.
Okay. And how did you hear about these pitch contests? Like I've seen Shark Tank, right? Dragon's Den and these other things where you go out and you pitch your business or product or whatever but not so much on a local level. How did you hear about these pitch contests?
So the first time it came to me, I was in a local, it was like a not an accelerator, it was a 7 week entrepreneur program. This was back in maybe 2024, I believe it was. And at the end of it, you had the opportunity to enter into the pitch competition. But at that time, I was dealing with taking care of my mom, who was, battling cancer. So I just didn't have it in me to do it. So I didn't even show up. I didn't even try. And then the next time it came up again was when I was in another entrepreneur program, and this time I said I'm a go for it. This one didn't have a dollar value attached to it. It was just you could get like free mentorship if you were top place, and it was prizes like that. But I did it, and that was 2025. At the end of the program, I entered the competition and I went for it. I walked in blindly, had no idea what I was doing, nervous, came right off the top of my head, and I didn't win. But when 2026 came, I said I'm going to do it again. So I started off the year and I did it again, and I've just been doing it since.
Awesome. So, entrepreneur program, let's take that back a little bit. What was the entrepreneur program? Is that something you spend money to do? Is it something with the community? Tell me about that entrepreneur program that you got involved in.
So I would recommend everybody look into their particular cities and see what type of programs they have, or even statewide. So most of the programs I have done have been based on either state or city programs that help entrepreneurs with building their business, starting their business, some type of assistance. And a lot of times they get funding from the state, or they get banks that invest in these things. So the first time I ever did a type of program was through, I believe it was the one with E Cornell and Bank of America. It was like a women's like leadership certificate. So that was like a 6 or 12 week program. So that was like the first time I ever entered into something like help me as an entrepreneur. But then as I've been going on, I've been finding out about other different programs that exist to help entrepreneurs. So there's so many out there. You just got to find the one that that's going to be the most beneficial from you for you. A lot of them don't cost. I've only paid once. The one that I just won for the pitch competition, I paid for that program. But if you don't have the income, I think I could have waived the fee some kind of way.
How much did you pay for that one?
It was 299, so two
Oh,
hundred ninety
300
nine
bucks?
dollars. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so free or relatively inexpensive.
yeah.
Good way to learn from the community, probably a great way to network as well, meet people that are involved in the community.
Yes.
So, so was the entrepreneur program required to do the pitch or not so much?
For the second one, it
Mhm.
was a part of being in the program. At the end of it, you get to enter into, well, not the end. It was like towards the middle. They took the applications to be a part of the pitch. If you were a past student, you didn't enter before, you could enter at any point. So like some people were a part of it were from the previous cohort before me that didn't enter at the time because they maybe felt they weren't ready at the time.
Okay. And what was the pitch part of it like? Meaning, was it like Shark Tank where you go in and there's a people sitting there and you just go and pitch, walk us through what that was like, the process and things of that sort.
Yeah, so it is similar to Shark Tank, but I say it's not like Shark Tank because they're not expecting us. Like when I watch Shark Tank, like they on top of, like they know those numbers. They go in with asking them to be an investor for a part of their business. Whereas we're not giving up part of our business. We're just asking them to invest whatever the top prize is to help our business grow, or if you're a startup, to help you get started. So we're just asking for funding for a particular goal in mind for the business.
Mhm. And did you just go, so what was your pitch like? Meaning, what did you present to them? Let's just say the first time when you were going in blind, and then, well, let's start with that. Like when you went in blind, what did you say? Like, what was your presentation
Yes,
work?
so that particular pitch, I had no idea what to say. So I didn't really get preparation for that pitch. So I didn't know what to present. I didn't know what I needed to know. So I was just thinking, oh, I love doing events. I need money, or I need, some money or something for an event. I like to host a Mother's Day event. So that's what I pitched to them, like this concept of like women taking care of themselves, and the value of self-care. And I talked nothing about like my business numbers, nothing of like, I didn't really get into the meat of my business during that pitch because I didn't know. So I
Mhm.
just went in talking about like how I could benefit, how my business benefits the community, how it's going to benefit moms, and that I would love to have this money for this pitch competition to host the event. But I take that back. That competition, I found out after the fact that I think the top prize was $3,000. But I didn't know going in. I just was trying to just do it because I just was like, I got to get over this fear of public speaking, and I need to, like, who knows my business better than me? I just need to put myself out there. So I didn't even realize like what the prizes were. That was another thing. So I literally was not prepared that first pitch.
Yeah, were you nervous? Were you,
Oh,
what were your,
extremely,
yeah.
extremely. I almost didn't go. I literally got there late because I was so scared. It was raining that day. I was like, it's already gonna be traffic because of the rain. People drive slower. And I was getting dressed, and I'm like, I don't know what to wear. I'm sick to my stomach, and I'm like, I shouldn't go. I shouldn't go. And I'm just like, oh my God. But I got up the courage last minute. I get there, and I'm like, oh my God. I had a pitch ready. Like I was trying to remember it. I didn't even think like you could use note cards. Again, I had no idea what I was supposed to do, and I didn't really get coaching for this particular pitch. So I was just walking in like, I don't even know. I don't know what you're supposed to do for the pitch. I don't even know what I'm supposed to say. And I'm so nervous. I feel like I'm about to throw up. Like, and then I get there and they're like, so when they start, I see my face go up on the screen. I said, I'm first. So I was like, they was like, you ready? I said, I guess. Like, I can't turn back now. I'm here.
And that's a very valuable point that I really want to point out is when we are trying something new for the first time, it's funny how our brain will start making up excuses, like every possible thing, whether it's doing that pitch, going to the gym in the morning or something that I don't want to do, these things will just automatically pop up. The traffic. Oh, it's already raining. I don't know what to wear. Why am I even doing this? So pay attention to a lot of the times your brain is not your best friend. It's trying to protect us from this stress that we're encountering or running into. So don't be afraid in terms of knowing that these things are going to pop up. It's better just to be aware. And I use it almost like a mental shift, thinking, okay, I'm going to go do this thing that I've not done before. I'm scared out of my mind. My brain is going to think of all these excuses why I should not go. Pay attention and know that that's going to happen. So this way you're prepared. Go, okay, when my brain starts saying this, go, hey, sure, there might be traffic, it might be this, but I'm going to do this because it's good for me. It's something I
Yeah.
should do, I want to do, and just be aware of that. Okay, so that first pitch, eh, you know, you did that. That one, did you win or not win?
No, I didn't win. But I had encouragement because at the end, a few of the judges came up to me and was like, I rooted for you. You have a great idea. Like, like it was good, but it just wasn't strong enough compared to some of the three people who won.
Yeah.
So that kind of was like, okay, well, I didn't fully blow it. Like they like my idea, they like my business, but I just didn't give a strong enough pitch. Like I don't know what they were judging. So that gave me the motivation to keep going because I was like, if I could go into this blindly, have no clue what I'm doing, and get to play, like just to be a finalist for me was was like, okay, I'm a finalist. Like how many people applied and made it to the finals, right? And then I was up against another person in the spa industry, and I saw the difference in her pitch versus my pitch, and then she had a coach, and that was the difference. I could tell, so she won. She came, I think, second place, or she might have did first. She came in first or second, and I could say, I said, okay, because I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, her business is not better than mine. She just was more prepared than me
Yeah.
because she had a coach, and the coach was there with her, and I spoke to the coach, so it was just like that was the difference.
And another great point, a lot of the times when you're going through something new, something that you're not familiar with, and let's just say like for example, like Angela did not win, do not confuse I'm not good enough or that as opposed to I was not prepared, right? Because you are freaking amazing, you know your business, you have that passion, you have that drive, you have that. It's just sometimes we're just not prepared. So
Yeah,
don't let a slip up or an event like that where you did not win confuse you, or don't be delusional to think, oh, it's me and I'm not good enough. I didn't win. No, if there's a difference, it's between that and just being prepared. So you're worthy, you deserve it. It's just more like, okay, use that as a learning thing. Cool. So you did not win that one. And the pitches, were you saw them live or did they videotape them or because I would love to
well,
have
I
seen
videotaped myself. So
that.
all of my pictures, well, not the second one. I was able to record it, like voice record. But the other ones, I propped up my camera and I let it roll so I can watch it back and see, what I need to improve on, and then listen back to because the judges ask you questions. And that was where I knew for me, I was like, I know my numbers and I know this stuff, but I don't know what they're gonna ask me. So do I know what they're gonna ask me? Or if it's like maybe it's a part of my business that's not doing so well, how do I combat that without saying like it's a negative or turn it into a positive? So like, like interview questions, like you don't want to say like I'm not gonna show up on time, but you want to say, I can improve on my time management skills and I've been doing this XYZ to do that, right? So that's why I would like listen to the playback and say, okay, this is what they asked me. How can I improve on those answering those questions for the next one? So that's what I did when I did I videotaped them or listen back to what I can hear because sometimes with the video like without having a microphone phone, you might not hear exactly
Right.
what they're saying, but I kind of like pieced it together in some of the videos I listened back to.
Awesome. So that was the first one. How much time after was the second pitch contest that you went entered?
So the first one was, I want to say that was October 2025. The second one was February this year.
Okay.
So it was
And
a few months.
okay. And so how was your preparation different now? So if you got the experience the first time, right? What changed in terms of your preparation from the first time to the second time?
So the second time, it was through a nonprofit organization that works with they work with helping Black businesses. So I had to pay to enter. Oh, I paid to enter this competition, but it was like I think like $75 maybe, which is worth it because I came in second place, so I got my money back. But they gave you the help, so was able to meet with a pitch coach, and we only had 30-minute meeting, but I created the pitch. I had criteria this time, so I had judging criteria to break down. Prior to getting to the pitch, I had to submit all this information about my business, and it gave me like a breakdown of like executive summary, things I needed to include. So even to get to the finals, I was a semi-finalist, and I guess for them to make the decision on the finals, they came back and asked me more questions about my business. More, they wanted more of the financial data, right? So I had to submit that information, and then I went on to become a finalist. And a part of being a finalist, I had to meet with a business coach. A part of doing the application process, I had to meet with a business coach to go over that, and they made it like a criteria, like 2 meetings at minimum. And then once I became a finalist, I had to meet with a pitch coach, and that's what she does. She is the queen of pitching. She's a pitch master. She was actually on a contestant on Shark Tank, and I read my pitch to her, and she dissected it, broke it down, take this out, no, say this, start with this, da, da, da. She gave me, the basically the winning pitch, and I just used that. I developed that pitch for the next competition.
Awesome. So what were some of the pointers that you can remember that the pitch coach gave you that were like, wow, these were some things that really helped you?
So one, she like it have the pitches usually have to be a certain amount of minutes. So
How much time was the pitch
I
roughly?
think the first one was 4 minutes. I want to say the second one was 4 minutes as well, and the last two have been up to 5 minutes. So, but then, oh, I forgot to mention, um, for the first and second pitch, I had to give a 60-second elevator pitch to as a part of the application process. So to get me into the pitch, I had to present an elevator pitch about my business. So then from that, you kind of develop that into the longer pitch. So the second one, I believe it was yeah, the first one I believe were 4 minutes was the max. So I wrote it, read it out, and then she basically, one thing she really helped me with was like, she's like the storytelling. I talk about like skincare is emotional, right? So there's different ways to do a pitch. There you got the storyteller aspect is like one of them. It's different. I saw an Instagram video and it was like 7 different ways to present a pitch. So mine has been storytelling. So I had the story about like my clients tell me like they don't like to go outside without makeup on, and they don't like taking photos and like things like that. That was buried in the pitch, and she said, "No, start with that." She's like, start with that. Like, I hate how I look in the mirror. I like capture their attention. So that's what I've been doing with my pictures. I've been starting with the storytelling aspect. Like, I hate photos. I hate how I look in the mirror. I don't like to go outside without makeup. And then I say, like, these are things my clients tell me all the time. So it's like that's how she helped me to like craft the pitch, because she told me like lead with the story, because that's really going to get them. And then she was just telling me like things like I could take out that I didn't need to like have all of this detail in there, because that would be part of like the questioning part. So it's like she told me to take like some certain things out, and then and she told me what to keep. So like she really, like I'm saying, 30 minutes, she really, like, we really went through it, and she listened, and she like pinpointed like things that sounded good. and things that was like, yeah, you don't need that. You could take that part out. You said that already, or like stuff like that. Like she really helped me like craft it, and we got it down. I think I was at like 3.5 minutes when I finished, which is great because it gives you room if you stumble. You still at your 4 minute mark because if that happens, like I get nervous, I stumble, and I'm like, okay, I got to stop and recollect myself, and then I got to start. But the timer's not stopping, so you got to keep going. The timer gonna keep going, so you just gotta like back up. Because I've had like false starts where I'll start and be like, oh, that's not what I'm supposed to say, and be like, sorry, let me like let me start over, and then but the timer is gonna keep going, so it's good to have like a little cushion.
Yeah, I was involved with Toastmasters for many, many years, and Toastmasters is like a speaking organization. One of the most important parts is speaking within a time constraint because it's easy to talk for something
Mm-hmm.
10 minutes or 15 minutes because you don't have to edit. It's like you don't have to pay so much attention to the facts or things that you want to actually impress upon the judges or your audience or what have you, right? It's easy to talk a lot. It's harder to build it down and build it concise where it was like, okay, we don't need this part. What were some of the things that you had in there that she had you take out? Because sometimes that's the thing that like there's things that even me and like, oh, I feel this should be in there, but they had me take it out. Not there's certain things that are repeated that's obvious, like hey, you
Yeah.
said this. What are some other things that were in
Like
there with it?
I remember her telling me to take out some of the numbers. Like she's like some of the numbers that I did like weren't necessary because she was like that would come up in the question. So like I think I had already like gave some type of data, and then I was like basically like giving more, but it was kind of the same. So she was like, no, you don't need you already covered it here. Like whatever I had said previously, she's like, you already covered that here, so you could take that part out because they're gonna ask you questions, so they could get down into the nitty gritty of the numbers when they ask you the questions. So it was like things like that, and just like some stuff was just I felt like were fillers to try to fill the time, and it just did not benefit the pitch because I'm trying to like get them hooked on my business and why they should give me this money to help my business because the judges want to see that this money is going to help your business grow, and they're not just giving you money because you need money, right? So they want to know like she want them to see like why they need this business, like why they need to give this business the money, not just because I'm doing bad. They actually don't want to give it to you because you're doing bad. They want to give it to businesses who are doing good, and they want to see that business keep doing good and keep growing.
And to bring this down to a level where it can benefit a lot of the other estheticians out there is this pitch. A pitch is basically very similar to a social media post. So if you're
Yeah.
doing a video about acne or rosacea, it's exactly what Angela was recommended to do by her coach, saying, "Hey, start with this thing. I hated looking in the mirror. I didn't want to go out. I was so tired of caking on the makeup." So to
Mm-hmm.
start with something like that is better than, "Hi, my name is Angela and I have a business and let me tell you about my business." Right? We
Yeah.
want to start just like that pitch. You want to start and hook them in the beginning. So if you're doing social media, and it's one of my pet peeves, I always tell people start with the problem because unless your clients have a problem that you can fix or not, everyone's busy in their own life. They don't have time to go, "Oh, let me know more about you. I'm curious about you." It's like it's more like it's about them, their problem. Can you help them? How
Mm-hmm.
can you help them? And walk me through that process, right?
Yeah.
So this pitch is like the process is very similar to do that. So
Very. Mm-hmm.
this is your second time doing it, the second time that you won the 3,500. Were you just as nervous the first time? Was it different? What
Oh
were your
yeah. So
what's
this
going on through
this
your head?
time I went. I think I was last. I was last to go this time. So I had to. So the only I was still as nervous, but the difference is that we were in a closed room with only a few people. So it's just the judges and a couple of extra people. So I didn't get to hear the other pitches.
Okay.
So that was the difference. But that kind of I feel like made it a little bit worse too because it was just like, what are they saying? I don't know. Like, are they just as good as me? Like, so it kind of made me nervous because it's just like then it's like you would hear like laughter coming out of the room. You're like, what they say to make them laugh, right? So it was just like things like that. So it was like nervous. So I remember talking to a client and she was just like, she does public speaking and she's like, she was like, just play. She's like, I listened to, I don't remember who she said, but it was like a rapper. She's like, I listened to them before. It's kind of like get me pumped up. So I was like, okay. So I just started listening to, I'm from Jersey, club music. So I started listening to club music. I'm in the club, I'm dancing. I'm like, I got this, I got this, I got this. So I just started listening to that as I'm waiting for my turn to go because I'm like, it kind of calmed my nerves. And this one, yeah, it felt when I was talking, I wasn't as nervous. One, because I was more prepared this time. I had note cards this time. So if I stumbled, the first time I stumbled, because I was going by memory and I had to stop and start over. And this time, I actually had the note cards in front of me and I had practice, like not reading, but just like being able to like kind of remember it, but glance down when I got lost of what was the next one. And this time that made it a little bit better because it was just like the judges and like I said, only a couple of other people in the room, not a big crowd.
No, no, no. And after you did the pitch, like you mentioned, the coach had you take out information because the judges can ask that later. What kind of questions did the judges ask?
Yeah, so that was the thing. So I realize now with pitches, like the judges are usually like they could be like the bankers that are investing in the money. In this particular case, it was just like members of the community that were a part of like the organization. Some of them were investors, maybe not for this particular pitch competition. Like they might not have invested the money for this competition, but they are investors in their own right. So the more people who are like more in the investment side, they were asking me more financial stuff. Like I forgot what I said in the pitch, but I remember one guy asking me about the something about like what percentage of my business is like retail and things like that because I mentioned that I have the spot and I have my products and I do events and I do all these things. So then there was like those were some of the questions. Then they were asked questions about they want to know where you're trying to spend the money. Like, so when I say I need the money to support like operations, and they're like, oh, you want to hire another esthetician? So I'm like, no, not right now. I need to work on the back end. Like, I need to get the operations in order so I could be able to expand and hire another esthetician. So like questions like that. And then some of them just don't really know your business because they don't know nothing about spa or skincare. So it'd be like questions like just kind of get a more better understanding of the business. So those I remember one guy asked me something about I think it was like oh no, one lady asked me like would I ever think of partner with like a doctor or something like that? And I was like, actually that is part of my plan because I always say I want to grow into a med spa. So it's like it's just like random questions. So like you never know because you don't know the people's background and what they may understand. So it could be something directly from your pitch, or it could just be some kind of off the wall question, just like to understand your business.
No, and that is awesome. Another way to prepare for something like this, if any other esthetician is interested or you get to the pitching, is I do boxing. So in boxing, we have something called shadow boxing, where we imagine an opponent in front of us. They're going to do this. How am I going to react? Very similar to a pitch contest or an interview is to do those mock questions. And one thing,
Hmm.
a great piece of the puzzle that Angela just revealed is you don't know who the judges are. So as you're practicing for that, because they are going to ask questions, go, okay, from an investor standpoint, let's just say it is a banker. What kind of questions would a banker ask? Right? If there is a community member that may not know so much about that, what kind of questions would they ask? So get it from a
Yeah.
couple of different angles and realize that, is this from knowing, paying attention to what kind of contest it is, potentially who the judges might be, and then what kind of questions they ask. So you are, again, better prepared. And Angela, really, I felt that from you is like when you mentioned you were less nervous. We're always going to be nervous. I could be in
Yeah.
front of a room full of people, like a chamber of commerce where they introduce a new member. and I see my name, I see them introducing the new people coming to me, and I'm starting to sweat. It's like, wait a minute, I
Yeah.
know my name, I know what I do. Why
Yeah.
am I nervous? So nervous
Exactly.
is natural, but the more prepared you are, right? It at least go, hey, I prepared for this. I know my information. I got this. So the more prepared you are, the easier and hopefully less nervous you'll feel, and the rest is just repetitions, right?
And I just want to say, you may know who the judges are ahead of time. I think the first competition I didn't get that information, but I feel like the other ones I did. They usually might post something on social media. So I did know the judges in the next competition, but I did for the second, no, the third one, I did put like the judges' information, and then like I was like, this too much. Like we don't know what, like even knowing their background, you still don't know what they're going to ask you.
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know. Somebody could be an investor and might focus more on the numbers, but you never know. So I just try not to focus on that. I just try to focus on knowing the information. So when whatever they ask me, I know because it's my business, and I just know the numbers, and it's okay not to know. It's okay to say I'm not understanding the question. Can you repeat that again? It's okay if you fumble a little bit. It's fine. Like it's not the end of the world. Because I know this the second time some of the questions I was like, I don't think I answered that right. But I'm like, well, I don't know. Like I'll find out, right?
Yeah, no, no, 100%, right? It's like it's just going through that process and learning it. But some of the questions, it's you may not know exactly what they're asking, but there's some that are going to be general. Like for example, if you're asking for money or trying to win money, they're going to ask you some things. What are you going to do with the money? Right? Right? There's the general thing. Know your numbers to enough of a
Yeah,
degree to be prepared. But that's just how it is. It's like, be prepared, do that. They may not ask any of the questions you can think of,
yeah,
but go, hey, at
yeah,
least I'm doing my part of it, right? Because like you're right. I don't know what a banker is going to ask me or this or that. But some of the things that are going to be like, hey, what are you going to use the money for? How is it going to benefit? Tell us more of this. Like you mentioned before, are you going to hire this? Did you think about this? So the
yes.
more
That
you do,
that
the
yeah, that's
more
a good
better.
question that comes up. Like they'll even say, "Well, did you think about doing this?" And I'm just like, you see the yes or no. Like, yes, I did, or no, that's because I've seen other pictures where they ask that type of question. The person's like, "No, I have not," but that is a good point. When I think when a question like that was proposed to me, it was like, "Yes, I did," and but this is what I need to do first. Like it's like so I was prepared because I know my business. I will also say whatever you're saying in your pitch, be prepared to back it up. So if I'm saying like these amazing numbers, they might ask me about those numbers and then want clarification, and then I watch the room. Like when I say what I say, I watch. I'm like trying to scan, and it's always one person who I feel like just like smiling at me, and it's just like, hey, and that's the person I usually tend to focus on because
Yeah.
it gives me the encouragement, like they're listening, right? Because I think that's another thing about being in front of an audience. You're like, are they paying attention? Am I boring now? So when I always like find the one person who I feel is like really into what I'm saying, I always kind of come back to that judge and just like like well, if they could be the one that's going to like get everybody else to go along with it, I'm just going to keep focusing on them.
No, and that's awesome, right? Like find, see who you're resonating with, right? And just like you said, that person can carry the rest just because say, hey, I like her, right? An important part about public speaking is sure the numbers are right. You want to be able to say this and stuff like that. But like if I was a judge, and I've judged things before, not definitely not a pitch contest, but enough of other things. I just look at, do I like this person? Do I trust this person? Do I feel that that they're going to do something good with the money? Right? Ultimately, my judgment is, do I trust her? Do I like her? Do I feel she's going to work hard? Do I feel like it all comes down to human nature and the emotion, and then I back it up with the logic, with the numbers, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah,
Right. So
yeah.
cool. So that was your second, and the second one you came in second place, 135 hundo. You paid
Hmm.
75, left with 35 hundo,
Hmm.
and a bunch of information, coaching, right? Practice.
Yes,
So that was, you said it in February.
that was February. Yes.
So now take us to the third one.
So I started a program. I'm an alumni with Montclair State University. They have now a whole business school that focuses on entrepreneurship. It's one of the programs they have now. They have a school
From the
for this.
college? From the college?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I enrolled back in November. And then I think I entered the competition in the application came out January. I found out, I think around February, I found out I was in it. And then we had to do, so this one was what really prepared me even more because they gave us I want to say over 8 weeks. We had weekly meetings to go over like preparing the pitch. So between from March until April, we had weekly meetings. You could not miss them. We had to show up. So we did different things to work with the over the pitch. And then the last three, I believe it's the last three weekly meetings, we had to do it in person. And it was six of us. So it was only six of us, and we had to go do it in person, have the pitch deck. Now I had to have a pitch deck. The other two, I didn't have anything. I just had the second, the first one, I just had nothing. The second one, I had my products, my display. That was it. I bought a display just to have something with me, but I had no pitch deck or anything. Now the third one, with this one, I had to have a pitch deck. So I had to prepare a pitch deck.
For the second one, did other people have a pitch deck, or and you just didn't,
No,
or
nobody had
you
a
just didn't
pitch
need it?
deck. It just had we just had like everybody had props.
Okay.
So some we well, not everybody. I don't believe everybody had a prop, but most of us had some type of prop or something to highlight what our business was. But they didn't require a pitch deck.
Okay.
Yeah, but
So
this the third
now with
one
the
I had to have a pitch deck. The third and the fourth one I had to have a pitch deck, and so I already had the pitch deck from the third one to when I went into the fourth one. But yeah, this one they prepared me the most. And that was that's what took me to the fourth one with it. Like I walked in there, I was like, I got this. Like
yeah.
I was nervous, but I said I got this. I just won. So in my mind, I'm like, I just was a winner, and I was like, I got this. Right? Still nervous, but I had more confidence now because I had just did all this preparation. I just did all this preparation, and if I did all this preparation just a few months ago, it's not even 6 weeks later. I was like, I don't have to do. I'm like, I didn't even practice, and I should have, but I didn't because I was like, this the same pitch I just said 6 weeks ago. I was like, I got this, you know. But
Okay, okay, okay. You and I talked about this offline already. Freaking practice, right? Just
yes,
and Angela is a wonderful specimen because a lot of things come naturally to her. We talked about college and not having to go to class and still getting great grades on the exam and things of that sort. That's a gift and it's a curse
it
because,
is. It
right?
definitely is a curse.
Yeah, because it's a great thing saying, "Hey, okay, I already know this. I don't have to practice and stuff like that, right?" But at the same time, definitely do the diligence because we can get like you mentioned before, you can not go to the class for 3 weeks, step in, and you'll get a B, right? And or if those 3 weeks you actually did prepare a little bit more,
They got an A.
and get that A, right? So, and the difference between, in college or school, it's one thing, but in these competitions, it's a difference. A B is, you might get $3,500 or you might get zero, or an A is you're going to walk out with 10 grand, right?
Yes,
So that
yes,
little bit of preparation and it's that gift and that curse because
yes. Well,
it
I
is
mean, I
literally,
was prepared more. Like I didn't walk into it blindly. Like I basically had the same pitch the fourth time. I had to tweak it a little because that's one thing to let people know. Like there should be some type of judging rubric, some type of criteria. So they let you know like what should be included in the pitch. So there are different things that they're judging you on that you need to have in there. So I made sure like this pitch was slightly different. It was very little difference in what they wanted to see. So I just made sure that the pitch that matched that, and that when I was going through the pitch, because I'm going through the slides. So I'm talking, each slide pops up. I have a note card, what I gotta say when this slide pops up. So I just wanted to make sure those things align. So it's not like I didn't practice, but it wasn't as much as I put into that third one because I felt like I just came off of this. So I still have like, that momentum. I'm going off of that momentum. And so I just tweaked it. and I just, edited a little bit. I edited the pitch a little bit to match, like I said, to match up the slide deck so that when I went through the slide that I was making sure I was saying what was on the screen. And that was it. And then I just knew this one was the fourth one was two parts. It was 16 finalists. And the day of the pitch, we did it in two parts. So you went into a closed room, pitched in front of two judges, and then from those pitches, they narrowed it down that same day to six people. And then those six people had to go back up in front of the audience and pitch again. So that was a little, I thought that was going to be more stressful because I was like, well, I got to do it twice. And then that one I was nervous because I was like, should I invite people to come? What if I don't make it to the second round? But I was like, no, you're going to. And I told myself, I was like, you're going to make it. You're going to make it. What do you mean you're not going to make it? So I was just like, girl, you're going to make it. You just won. What do you mean you're not going to make it?
Yeah, and and that is right. Count your wins, right? Like one thing I heard you say again and again, you were already prepared. You just did this. You just won the last one. You had that momentum. So a lot of the self-talk you have that I'm hearing this time, that I remember that the first time it's cold outside, it's
No.
raining, there's traffic, right?
Yeah.
If you're watching this, can you see the change in the
Yeah.
mental, right? Hey, you just won this. You already got this. You are prepared. You went through this, right? It's more like
Yeah.
now you're laughing and enjoying go because so many times the thoughts will come into our head. As soon as that thought, I have a saying, it's not the first thought that matters, it's the second. Because, and what I mean by that is the first thought is going to be sometimes that negative one will just pop up saying, oh man, what if I didn't do this? And then that second thought is, wait a minute, you just won the last one. You got this. So sometimes when you have that negative thing pop up first, that first thought, pay attention to your second and kill that first thought, right? Cancel that shit out.
Yes.
Because
Yes. I
you have to
definitely
catch
agree.
yourself, right?
Yeah, the third one I actually was running late, not because I was nervous, because I just, I don't properly manage my time. I had just moved, and I forget that I wasn't as close to the location when I just was living nearby. I was like 15 minutes, I'll be there. So I still had that like 15 minutes in my mind, but I was like, oh no, you 30 minutes away now. So that was a part of it. So they're calling me like, are you? I said, I'm down the street, so I was like, I'm coming. I just, I missed, but I was there on time. I got there before
Yeah.
it started, but they were just like, where's Angela, so, and it's so funny at the end, one of the ladies was like, oh, let's give it up for the queen last to stroll in and take first place. I was like, when you got it, you got it. I don't know what to tell you.
That's hey. When you got it, you got it. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, so yeah, it was like that, but I do say like if that's why I said you could get like a great training through these entrepreneurship programs. I still do them, even though even if I feel like I'm like a veteran in my business, I still do them because like you said, the networking with the other entrepreneurs, just things are changing constantly. So I'm quite sure the ones moving towards the future are going to start incorporating AI into the entrepreneurship programs. We did talk on that on some of the programs, but I feel like that's going to be one of the key concepts in the ones moving forward. So it really helps you because you can always rebrand. You can always learn more about branding and marketing. It always touches on those type of key aspects in these entrepreneurship programs. So it's always something to learn and always great to learn from other entrepreneurs. Like they can help you in your business, even if it's a different business. I was just in a cohort and they were talking about like staffing. That seemed to be like the key thing that everybody had an issue with. And it's the people from restaurants, massages, beauty, different businesses, mental health. And we all have the same issue as entrepreneurs, staffing. So it's like you can always learn from different entrepreneurs and just having somebody just to bounce ideas off of. So even with this pitch, like going to another entrepreneur saying, can you listen to this for me? What do you think about this? So that was helpful too. So being in a room with the other women while we were practicing, we all had different businesses. So just hearing like how they were pitching, it helped me too when I put my pitch deck together because I was just like, I don't know what to put in this deck. and like just seeing their pitch decks, I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So it just, it helped me formulate a lot of things with the pitch too, just being in the room with other entrepreneurs and just watching how they pitch, their energy level, those type of things really kind of help inspire you.
Nah, and that's like you mentioned, a business owner, an entrepreneur, it's a very, regardless of the industry, it's a very parallel path, right?
Hmm.
It's like you talking about the same problems. What does a small business want? We all want more clients, right?
Yeah.
Right. It's like that's the number one thing. It's like, hey, I'm a restaurant. I want more people coming in eating the food, right? Massage, I want more clients. Everybody wants more clients, right? And you just realize that when you do this, yeah, you're learning one, you're becoming popular, right? It's just it is what
Yes.
it is. If you're winning freaking contests with this, you must be doing something right.
Yes.
So that's one of the cool things. Second thing, it helps build self-confidence. You've learned now a skill of how to pitch, how to do this, how to do that. And now that's a skill that you can use in every aspect of your business, whether it's social media, whether you're talking to somebody and you want to deliver make it impactful. So you start with your elevator pitch or something of that sort, where if you're networking in the Chamber of Commerce or whatever it may be, it just helps build that confidence. You put in the practice. Now what you say is more impactful as opposed to not practicing, not knowing, and let me see what falls out of my mouth, right?
Yeah.
It's like
And you're
something's gonna
right.
come
I
out,
did
but is it gonna
develop
make
a
a difference,
confidence. Yeah,
right?
yeah. I did develop a confidence because I even noticed it in myself from the nervousness was even different from the first time that I did it versus the last time that I did it. I could just I like one, I was prepared. I even prepared a video in advance about me talking about going to do another pitch competition. So like it was a total difference in me. Like now you're right, I built the confidence now because I was like, they done told me this is the second time they told me like my business is worthy of an investment. That after the second after the no that was the third one after Montclair Stage, she came up to one of the judges came up to me like she poured into me. I almost cried because she was just
Oh,
like, "What?" She's like, "You have an amazing business and what you're doing is so needed." She's like, "But I'm gonna have to tell you, you got to pull yourself up out of this business if you want to see it get to the level you want it to be at." And like that right there just like resonated with me. I was just like, "Oh my God, I got to get myself out of this business and not be the employee. I have to start working on the business so I can get this business to the level that I see it being at." And she just basically reassured me that if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to get there. So it was just like for somebody to listen to you speak for 5 minutes and leave with that, it lets me know like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
and that is so refreshing to hear because I feel so many times we look at ourselves. And like you and I were talking about this earlier, we just think we're normal people and we're just doing our business and living our life. But I truly feel that if we could see ourselves through someone else's eyes, and it was nice that person told you this, right? And it's a reminder if one person is thinking that, and she actually said it, how many others are thinking that as well, just not saying
Yeah.
it? So don't be
Oh, you
so
know what
hard on yourself,
happened?
right?
So I finished my pitch. I was the we've all finished, and no, we had like intermission because the judges had to go make their decisions. And in the audience, this lady comes up and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe it's you." And I'm like, "What do you mean? I'm Angela, right?" So she's like, "Everyone tells me about you. I'm in Newark. I have a melanated son." She shows me a picture of her son. She's like, he's struggling with acne and this and that. And I'm just like, oh, she's like, and every time I ask somebody, they say, come to you. And I'm like, wow. So, to know like my name is being spoken in rooms that I'm not in, and for somebody to be like, blessed to see me, and she's like, and you're so humble, and I was just like, oh, okay. It was just like, what is going on right now? Like, I'm not a celebrity, but she was just like her reaction to me was just like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm meeting you. And I'm like, it's just me. She
Should
was
have
like, you're
busted
so
out a
humble.
pen. You need to start carrying Angela. Angela, get a good headshot. carry some photos with you,
I know.
right?
I was just like, wow. So just for her to tell me that, and just me, I'm just doing what I feel like I have to do, like what I need to do. Like it's not, I always wanted to change lives. I always wanted to like support my community. So it's like I'm actually doing it. Like, and I got my head down. I'm doing the work, so I'm not even thinking like who's paying attention. I don't care who's liking my Instagram post. I post it because I say people need to find me and they need to see me. So whoever's supposed to find this post and see it, they're going to see it. I don't care if no one interacts with it. I don't care if it's not like people are watching it. They're viewing it. Like the views are there, right? So that's all I care about. So if I just feel like I'm just talking to myself, I'm just keep talking to myself because people are finding me. And obviously me being in these rooms, doing these competitions, networking, being at community events, it's helping people say like, go see Angela. She know her stuff. Like people talk to me, and that's why I always tell like people like do events, network, because when you talk to people, it's one thing to watch you on Instagram and see your work. It's another thing to talk to you and hear your passion and to hear your story and to see why you're doing what you do. That I think that changes people's perception of what facials are and why
Yeah.
I do what I do and make them want to come to me versus just another esthetician.
I heard something that stuck with me a while ago. People don't care what you know until they know that you care, right? So some people that are estheticians, and again, I always tell people my philosophy on how to get clients, get people to know you, like you, trust you. That's it. You have to get people to know you. If people are just posting, hi, this is my special, hi, I'm having a sale, hi, I'm taking in new clients, right? That's one thing, you know, one, post more. Two, show yourself, right? This is me. This is why I do it. People have to know you, right? People have to like you. You have to become a likable person, and they have to realize that you care. Because if they do that, then a lot of the sales mumbo jumbo out there kind of goes down a little bit, and they go, you know what? I'm gonna see her because I just feel she's a good person, right? I feel like she cares. She's not just going to come there, throw me on the table, do this, give me charge me and say adios kind of deal. So one thing because I mentioned this to you before, is I remember way back when, Angela, you would never do videos, right?
Oh,
And I would always bust
don't
your
gonna let me
ovaries.
forget this.
I would always bust your ovaries, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd say bust balls, but bust ovaries. I'm an ovary buster today because I was looking back at some of our DMs, and you're like, oh, I'm so busy, and oh, I don't. Da, da, da. So what? How did you finally switch from not doing videos, and then you mentioned that now they can't get you away from a camera? How did you
Yeah.
make that switch? Because so many estheticians are scared out of their minds of just putting themselves in front of camera.
Yeah, one, I will have to say thanks to you because when you started your group and you started that challenge, and I kept seeing, and I'm watching videos, and I could tell these estheticians are terrified. You can hear the trembling in their voice, but I'm like, they did it. And I was like, I know I have a fear of public speaking. I've always had a fear of public speaking. I had to take the class 3 times before I passed it because I dropped it because I was so scared. When it was time to speak, I would like, I ain't come to class, and I would just go drop the class. So the third time was a charm. I realized at a certain point, I started to notice like from my content that when I would get in front of the camera, even if it wasn't doing a lot or doing a lot of speaking, it got more attention. Like people resonated with that more. And I remember it was like putting out a video with me in it. I wasn't even saying anything. And the client said, oh, there she go. Like something to that effect was like, what do you mean there she go? I just saw you like recently, but just like letting me know like they want to see me, right? So then when you came along with your challenge, and I was like, I could do this. Like why, like they can't see me, like I can stop if I mess up and start over, so why am I scared? And so it just was like, just do it, girl. So like I appreciate you and your group for like showing me like you could do it, it's okay, and I'm still terrified to go live, but I'm going to pull the trigger soon. But yeah, I just was like, and now it's like second nature. I'm just like, all right, somebody said, oh, give me a testimony. And I'm like, hi, like, I'm like ready. But before I'd be like, no, okay, come back to me. So I do appreciate that. And then I just realized too, I am the business. Like it's literally my name. Like I named the business after myself. Um, I am the business, and I'm the one that's always outside talking to people in the networking events, at the vending events. So I was like, people want to know me. And then I just realized, like, when I started posting, even when I share my story with just a picture of myself and I put in the caption my story, it got the most comments, the most likes, the most shares. And I was like, people want to see me. They want to know more about me. They want to know who's touching on their skin. They want to know who's helping them. So I got to get in front and show them why they should come see me. And also too, it's like I realized like I'm not the only esthetician in the area. So why should they come see me over the next esthetician? And I think a part of it is because they know my story. They know who I am. They know my passion behind it. They know I quit my job as a chemist and just jumped into being an esthetician and starting a business. And a lot of women resonate with that. Like some people, I have clients who go to jobs every day and they hate it. And I'm like, well, what do you do outside of work? Lean into that. So it's like sometimes people just want to be in proximity to those type of like that type of great energy, to greatness. They want to be in proximity to that. Like, that's why we always support celebrities because we see them doing great. So we want to be close to that.
Yeah, see, and that's the cool thing is you never know who you're inspiring. Like you mentioned, you don't know who's watching your content. You don't know what person had a hard day, a bad day, and then they see you and you're just talking and you're nice and you're helpful and you're sincere and you care. And again, it goes back to people listen to these things, tattoo it on your arm. People, they have to know you, like you, and then trust you. And the more you're on video, the more you show yourself, the more they feel they know you, the more they can find things that are relatable. The more if somebody has that 9 to 5 job that they don't like and they see you working hard for your dream, being an entrepreneur, right? That is a level of inspiration because, as we all know, running a business isn't for the faint of heart.
No, it's not. When I
Right?
tell you, I the was it the third competition. I had $300 in my account to that $10,000 hit. So yes, it's not it's not for the faint of heart. But I wouldn't trade it for the world because it's just something about the freedom of controlling your destiny and just creating something. Like now I'm the creating the jobs and I'm creating the way for the next level of estheticians. And I'm actually working on that now to pour into estheticians because I want to be the person that I needed when I was starting. And no, I didn't have that. And working as a chemist, I never had that community and I never had someone to pour into me and to build me up to I would have probably still been a chemist had I had these entrepreneurship programs that I'm in. Had I had a community to go to who understood what I was dealing with and to like support and encourage. Like that's one thing I tell people. You wanna be an entrepreneur, you need to find other entrepreneurs because a working person is never going to encourage you to quit your job. They're never going to encourage you to take the lead. But an entrepreneur, I'm like, girl, do it. What you scared? Now, I can't tell you financially what to do. Like you have to know yourself. But if you're really serious about it, just do it. What's the worst that can happen? You go back to your job. Like life goes on.
And you know what, with you winning these pitches, like I think there's like levels that help in terms of doing this. So before you're scared of being on video, doing video, you took that plunge, you started doing that. Did that help you feel more comfortable to pitch in person, or are those just two completely separate things?
No, I think everything is a stepping stone. I don't think I would have been as comfortable had I just not started just getting more comfortable with just speaking in public, even just doing events.
Yeah.
Like I'm doing events, I'm at a vendor table, and I'm just gonna let everybody walk past my table, or am I going to start approaching people and talking to them to get them to come to talk to me, right? So I see I'm there, like when I'm at events, people just go to walk by, be like, hi, hello, don't walk by, come here. So like I had to get comfortable with even that, just like putting myself, I think it was more so me getting comfortable with putting myself out there with the fear, like who's judging me? Who cares if they judging me or not? Like this is who I am. So when you're naturally being yourself, those who like you, going to gravitate to you, and those who don't, they're not. And I have accepted that. Like if I'm naturally being who I am, the people who are supposed to come to me are going to come. And if that's why I said now in my content, now I have a social media person, and I was like, it's time for me to start like doing more in my content. I was like, because I was like, I feel like I am a little funny. I'm not trying to be a
You're
comedian,
freaking
but
amazing, girl.
I'm like, I am a
Jeez.
little funny. I am smart. I always tell her like I want to be a business coach, but I don't want to talk about systems. I don't like those words. Like, listen, I'm just me. I'm the girl next door. So it's just like I just want to keep it relatable. How I learn, right? I remember watching shows like The Wire, and they were trying to teach the little boys math, and they're like, relate it back to what they know, drugs. And that's how I am. Like, relate it back to what you know. Not, I don't want to, like, I'm a scientist, but I don't need to be talking about all the melanocytes and this and that. Like, no, you got dark spots. Like, so that's just, I want people, like, and I think when I do my pitches, like, that comes out too. It's like, I'm giving you the numbers, but I'm also letting you know, like, one of the things I say in my pitches, that, which is the truth, I'm the bottleneck. Like, this business won't grow without me getting out of the business and
Yeah.
moving out my own way and allowing but in order to do that, I kind of need some help. I need your money to kind of help me get to the next level. So that's basically what I'm telling them in my pitch. So I think, and one thing I will also say too is, like, I think somebody asked me, like, what do you think resonates with them when you're pitching? I feel like one of the things that resonates with them is that I always talk about how I have multiple streams of income in my business. And I always say, then somebody said, one of the judges asked me a question last time. She said, well, if a esthetician had everything you had, they were a chemist, they were this, they were that, what would make you stand out? And I was like, and I had to come up on the spot, and I was like, what would make me stand out? And I was like, well, the average esthetician, the average spa is only looking at two streams of income. They have products and they have services. And I said, I'm building a whole digital platform to help other estheticians as well as consumers. I do events. I'm in the community. So like that I had to come up with that on the spot. Like, because I was stumped too. I was like, well, I always say because I'm a chemist. And she was like, well, they were a chemist. And I was like, dang, she got me. Like, she got me. And I was like, dang, that's my go-to. Like, I'm a chemist and I'm an esthetician. And then I was like, well, dang. Then literally on the spot, I was like, oh, because spas only focus on two things: services and products. Like, they're not focused on I'm like, I'm in the community doing events. I said I host my own events. I do workshops. I'm building monthly recurring revenue. I'm building a digital platform to help estheticians as well as help consumers. It was like, yes, I was like, yeah, that's what makes me stand out, because I'm just multifaceted. I'm not focused on like one thing.
Yeah, and you know what? It's easier, like those questions can just come out and stuff like that. It's easier to answer them when you're actually doing them, right?
Yeah.
Angela, that's one of the reasons why I just look at your content and the stuff that you do, and I'm like, man, this chick is everywhere, right? Because you doing the content, you're doing the work, and then you're doing the events, right? You're out in the community, right? And all of this stuff. That's just a part of all this, the things that you do, because it's not easy, right?
No.
It takes time, and I think it's always hardest. I remember I talked to you, I interviewed before last time about how you did events, how you set them up. Do you do them alone? Do you do with partners and all this? And it was just like, it was very similar to you describing these pitch contests. The first one was like this, and then the second time you learned XYZ. And then the third time it was cool. Now I got this, and now I got a team, and and all this stuff.
Yes.
And people, you have to understand the first time it's gonna be a little bit hard, especially if you try to do it yourself, right? One thing, if I was an esthetician, right, one thing I would do immediately is if you are looking at holding events, because it's easier to get clients if the room full of people and you're there doing it and stuff like that. Hit up Angela, go, hey Angela, how can I pay you to show me how you run these events? Can you walk me through it? Can you guide
Mhm.
me through this process? If I was an esthetician who wants to make an extra, $23,500 doing local pitch contest, I would hit up Angela, go, Angela, you went through all this pain. You went in blind the first time. You picked up a few things. You've worked with coaches uh, for that specialize in pitching, right? Can you help me through this? Can you help me find these local pitch things that you went to? Are there any in my area? How would I find them? And then freaking hire Angela as your coach.
Yeah.
She went through it. She learned it. She's got the wins from it. She went through the education, and now you can do the same and take advantage of another person's experience, right?
Yeah. People
So
have reached out to me. It's like, how do you find, like you said, like one of your
yeah.
first questions, like, how do you find these competitions? One, because you're right, I'll be everywhere. And two, social media. When I see something on social media, like if it's a competition that happened already and I missed the deadline, I save it. I join their email list. So when they come back around, or I start following their social media page. So when they come back around, I see it again. The last competition, that's exactly what happened. I saw it from someone else sharing it. And I was like, oh, they did a pitch competition. So then I said, that was, I think, in the fall, and I think it said like it was going to be yearly. So I was like, oh, okay, I'll just, I'll start following their page. So when they announce the next one next year, I'll see if I can enter. Well, it came back. The deadline was like May. They announced it maybe March. So it was right after I did the last competition, I entered into this one. So I came off of the wave. Like I just won. I'm about to go try this one, and this one coming up in June. So that's literally what I did. And I literally entered. I don't recommend this because I'm always like multitasking. So I entered the last day at the last minute, went on vacation. On my way back, I'm seeing these emails like, oh, you missed this meeting. I'm like, what are they talking about? They didn't even tell me if I'm a contestant, right? They didn't tell me if I was a finalist, but I had not seen the other emails that said I was a finalist. So it's like, oh, you were supposed to, you got to do coaching. You have to do this, and I was just like, I'm looking at these emails like, I didn't even get an email saying I'm a finalist. So what are they? Why are they sending me these emails? But then when I went back and started searching through my email, I was like, oh, I missed it. So I was like, well, they got the notification that I was on vacation, so I hope they know I'm not ignoring them. So yeah, so it's just so funny. And I came back and I was like, oh, okay. Um, I got to get ready for the next competition. And again, I had to have for this last one, they wanted me to do two coaches sessions. But honestly speaking, somebody was like, "What did you talk about with the coach?" I was like, "I already had everything prepared. I just came off of the other competitions." I was like, we just talked, like she just gave me her input on what they will be looking for in this particular competition and things that I should make sure I mention. Like one thing that I added that she recommended was like competitors, like who are my competitors? And then I thought I needed to find like actual competitors, but then I spoke to, oh, I have another guy who through the of the Montclair State program, he has been a business coach for me. He's been helping me with the pitch competitions. He was like, yeah, I help people practice for that. So he's been like a person I go to too, and I go over my pitch, and he's helped me with the judge questions. So like he'll listen to my pitch and then he'll just start asking me questions to help me prepare. And he's like, make sure you say this and make sure you say this. So it was like he always told me, monthly recurring revenue. Remember MRR. So I told him for the rest of my life, I would never forget MRR, monthly recurring revenue. So he was like, remember that and talk about the automations. They like to hear that. Judges like to hear that. So he gave me some pointers so now when I went into the Montclair State program and they asked me about the monthly recurring revenue, I was like, oh, this is what he told me to say. And they asked me about the automation. So one of the guys that asked me a question was in automations. He did something with AI. So he asked me something about automations. I was like, yes, I'm going to implement a system, a CRM with automations, and so I was ready, like the out. And I think that for him, because had he not told me those like key things to like bring up, I would have been clueless. Like, what am I supposed to say here? So that was like everything has been a stepping stone from. I feel like everything happens the way it's supposed to. I know a lot of people like want things to move faster or move different, but I always feel like everything that has happened to me, like you said, from the getting on the video, it's all a stepping stone to get me here. Like you gotta crawl before you can walk. So I was like, I've crawled and I'm walking now because I had to start. Like I had to start, and I had to stand, and I had to get comfortable, and then I just had to do it. I'm like, nothing's gonna happen if you don't do it. If you don't get yourself out there, you're never gonna know what you can do. And even if you don't, like I could have stopped after I didn't win the first time, but I didn't let that stop me. I said they said they like the fact that they came up to me, I guess that also boosts my motivation. They were like, I voted for you, and I was just like, oh, okay.
Oh, it's right there, right?
Yeah, it did. It was like, oh, okay, because I don't know where I stand. I just know I didn't win, right? So when like a couple of the judges came up to me and they were like, they wanted my information. They were like, I voted for you. I just want you to know I voted for you. And I was just like, oh, you did. So it just made me feel better about myself. Like, oh, so I do got to win in this. I just didn't win this, but that doesn't mean I'm not a winner. So I really encourage people to just, that's one of the lessons I've been talking about on my Instagram is like, do it scared, do it even when you feel like you want to throw up. Cause trust me, I still feel the nervousness and my voice is shaking. And I'm just like, I got the note cards in front of me and I'm still stumbling over words. And I'm just like, okay, I got this. Okay. And I'm just like, even one of the lady, she said, you kind of hesitated, but then once the car revved up, you took off. I was just like, that was a funny analogy. She was like, yeah, I could tell you was a little stumbling at the beginning. She's like, but once took off, you took off. And I was like, okay. And that's just what I do. I go in now like you're a winner, you got this. Like the confidence is like, it's there now, but I had to build that. I had to get there, but the only way I got there is because I kept going, and I'm gonna continue going. So now when you talk about like the events, I'm like, well, I created this pitch deck that's helped me win these pitches. Now it's time to create these grant proposals to help me get sponsors for this event. So now it's like that has motivated me. Like, okay, people like my business and they want to. They telling me that it's needed in the community. Now let me get some people behind that to sponsor these
Yeah.
events that I like to host. So I don't have to pay it out of pocket. And now if I go to you and say, "Can you help me out?" I can actually come with a check.
Mhm.
Like, how much you want? I got a check for you, right? So that's the level I'm at now. It's just building like one thing to the next thing until I get to my ultimate goal, which has always been to have the Medi Spa. So that's where I'm trying to go. And the education, one of the things I also said I want to do is have a school for estheticians, but I think more so continuing education versus just a regular school.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great angle. Was any of that covered in the media, like the contest or any of that stuff?
Actually, somebody reached out to me, but they never followed up. I probably should follow up with them. From the first actually program I was in that I did the pitch competition, it was like I saw it because you're right. Everybody talks to everybody. Everybody is connected. So they're like, "Oh, I saw you won." He knew about one competition. I was like, "Well, I actually won three." He was like, "What?" So he said he wanted to interview me, and I myself too. I didn't follow back up with him. So and I actually just
Yeah.
saw him recently.
Yeah, no, definitely do that. Another thing I would highly recommend is write your own press release, right? You use AI and all that stuff. Look at other press releases. Throw in that picture of you holding that check, right? That big old check of 10K or whatever like that. Write your own press release. Send it out to all the local outlets, right? You'll be surprised. One of the things I did moons ago, because I've done plenty of wild and crazy things and stuff like that, fun businesses, is I made friends with the local reporters. So find out who like the local reporters are. Like just go through the newspaper, right? And they'll say this the reporter's name under whoever wrote the story. Look at the community events, hit that person up, and just like you're finding a new client, befriend that person, right? Just say, hey, what's up? Hey, I saw you wrote this story on, dogs running wild in, New Jersey or whatever, blah, blah, blah. or local business things or whatever, and just say I really like that story and stuff like that, and then just send them a press release, right, of you, right? You have to sometimes toot your own horn because one, that looks amazing, right? Two, hopefully somebody will get it and publish it, right? Which is even better. And three, it's newsworthy news, all right? So it's
Yeah.
great. Make sure you do that, right? And all that.
Yes,
So here,
thank you. Because I'm a little humble and modest,
no,
so
no,
I
no,
appreciate that.
she, girl, I saw that picture of you holding that big check. I was like,
Yeah,
yeah.
they right here. I gotta remember that's my vision boards. They say it right here. When I came home, my cousin was like, "Oh, you went to a conference?" I was like, "No." I flashed the check. He was like, "You won that?" I was and then the
That's how we
second
do it.
time I came back, he
How did I can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, now I got you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I went in the fourth time, just like, even if I don't, the one thing I say is like, even if I don't win, even if I don't place, I showed up. And that itself takes a lot. Like I said, when you're nervous and I'm feeling like, oh my God, I'm about to throw up. I don't know what to do. My hair don't look right. My outfit don't look right. But the fourth time I went in that morning, like what I'm going to wear, I had this theory about manifest. Let me how can I disconnect the Bluetooth? Let me turn off the Bluetooth. Okay. You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I was like, and it's funny I'm wearing green today because I was like, green for the money. So I was
Yes.
like, so I went and got my nails painted green. I wore green that day of the third pitch. Um, I used green. I have these deodorant, had a green top. I used that particular deodorant. I have body butter. It was ginger lime. The green. Everything was green. So I was like, I'm manifesting the money. And I did the same thing for the next competition. I was like, I'm wearing green. I have green in it for the money. I'm gonna get my nails painted green. I'm wearing my green. I'm using my green body butter. So it's like I was just like I'm manifesting the money, manifesting the money. So that's another thing I truly believe in is like the power of manifestation and just like. But it all start with you just doing the work, just putting yourself out there, and just keep doing it. So like I appreciate you for kind of helping me on that journey, but it all started with me. I still had to do it. You can encourage. You were pushing me and I still was pushing back like, no, I don't, until I finally said, Angela, this you standing in your own way. So a lot of times we have to get out of our own way.
Right. No, 100% right. And for you estheticians that are listening to this, right? If and Angela mentioned things happen in steps. If you are still scared of even just doing videos of yourself, right? To promote yourself, talk about your business, your passion, how what you do for the community, how and your dreams, your visions. One, it's costing you clients right now because they don't know you, they don't like you as much, and they don't trust you because it's hard to really like and trust a post, a picture all the time. They have to hear your voice. They have to hear that passion inside of you. And it doesn't mean you have to be perfectly speaking and very eloquent because that's a freaking robot. That's what AI is for, right? They want to hear you stutter and mess up and hey, I'm really nervous because to me, when I see somebody that's nervous but they're trying, man, I'm rooting for that person. In fact, I see more because I don't want to see a video that sucks. But I want to see a video of someone that's struggling and they're trying and it's hard and they feel sick, but they're still here, right? And
Yes.
that's like the internal that the inner dog within all of us. But if you're not doing the videos, you're it's costing you clients. Two, if you're too scared, nervous, whatever you want to call it, to do that, it's costing you so far for Angela $23,500
Mhm.
because that there's steps, right? And that's the thing. Your videos, you do that, you get more comfortable, you're still scared, you're still nervous, and but now you going, there's a level after that. And now there's a level after that. There's levels with more judges, stricter things. You've done things where it was like from 16 to 6 or whatever the number be. There's other
Yeah.
ones that are going to be from 100 to 50 to 25. The larger the prize, the more levels, the more things, the more they're going to be looking into it, the more prepared you are. But that's a distant thing you can't do the video now. So uh, let's just say the first time you saw the information for the first pitch contest, right? A lot of people, a lot of estheticians might see something that like that, and they count themselves out. They're like, "Oh, I don't even know what that." They'll scroll right past it. How did you count yourself in? What made you say, "Yeah, I'll do that first one"? How did that even process through the?
I already had made up my mind that it was something I wanted to do. So why not start like on a more local level, because I felt like it's less competition, right? So locally, I knew like, okay, a lot of smaller businesses, we are not, we all are scared, we all were probably not prepared. A lot of us don't, we don't probably had the time to even invest into, like, obviously the one woman, she had a coach, but like the rest of us, I could tell by our pictures that we kind of just went in there and did it right. So it was just like on a more, so start small. I started small, like a smaller level, and I convinced myself like, this is something you want to do, so what do you have to lose? I didn't pay anything to be in the program, I didn't pay anything to be in the pitch competition. All I was losing is my time, but I'm not, because I gained so much more from that first competition just by doing it, nervous and all, like not being prepared, being scared to go, almost not even showing up, knowing like, I'm like, I don't know how many people applied, but it's like you made it to the final six, right? It don't matter how many people. It could have been only six of us that applied. I don't know, but it's like they saw my video and said, I want her as one of the finalists, right? So that to me was just like encouragement in itself. It's like, okay, I put this video together. I put a little, I use Adobe Express or something. I put a little, took out the background, put a little cute background, enhanced it a little bit, put the little captions on it. And I was like, okay, I got a winning video. In my mind, I was like, this is cute. I talk to other entrepreneurs and I know like the level like we're on. And a lot of people are not using AI like I'm using AI. They're not using technology like I'm using technology. They're not in front of this camera on social media like I am. So I felt a little bit more confident, just based on my peers, just the people I know, local community people, and like how other entrepreneurs, when I meet them, I'm kind of giving them, like I was talking to somebody yesterday and I was like, she was like, oh, I need something with my photography. I was like, put them pictures into AI. Don't stress about it. And she was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. So it's like, I already know who I am as a person. And I'm just like, I'm holding myself back. Why? I don't know. It's just like it's like a fear that we have of like, I'm not scared to try. I'm not scared to fail. I'm not scared of rejection. So I'm just like, what is the fear? I don't know. So I was just like, move out the way and just do it.
100%. And you got something going on at one, right?
Yes.
So real quick, just to close off, Angela, first of all, thank you again so much. Message to other estheticians out there that are struggling, that aren't confident in front of video, don't know anything about these pitch things. What's something you would final message you drop off to them?
I would just say just do it. Just start. Lean into the resources for small businesses. There are so many free resources for small business. I know if you're in New Jersey, we have the New Jersey Small Business Development Center. The SBA has one of those, I believe, in every state. So that could be the first place to start. Look at your Chamber of Commerce. Just start putting yourself in those spaces with the people who are doing what you want to do. And that was when I met. So that's the funniest thing. When I met from that same networking event for the nonprofit, I met the pitching lady, and she walked in the room. She took over the room. And I said to her, this was I think it was December of 24, 25. And I said to her, I said, I wanna work with you because I want to get to that point where I could do that. And I said that to her, and I got to work with her. I didn't have to pay her, but I got to work with her for that pitch, and she helped me. So that was like I put that energy out into the world, like what I wanted to do, and it came back to me, not the way I thought, but it still came back because when I first met her, I reached out and I started following her, and I joined her mailing list, and I signed up for like a pitching thing she gave, and I really was like, I love how she just take over room, and I want to be able to do that. And I did get what I asked for. I said I wanted to work with her, and I got to work with her, and she helped me with my pitch. Now when I get some money, I want to work with her on a deeper level, but it was amazing that I just manifested that whole situation. But I was very intentional that this is what I wanted to do, and although I didn't do it at the time I wanted to do it, it still came back to me. So just stop standing in your own way and get yourself out there. And if you need more encouragement, I am starting a community for estheticians. So you can come follow me on Instagram. It's Kim to Skin. It's CHEM, the number two, skin, because I went from a chemist to a skincare professional. So I want to help encourage other estheticians to take their businesses to the next level, just professionally too, just develop your own self, because I'm still learning, but I feel like I got a lot of knowledge that I can pour into other people to help them get to how I got myself to where I'm at today.
Hey, you got some knowledge and some fat ass checks, right? So, hey, I'll post the pic with her with the checks in the group. Check it out. Angela, again, thank you so much.
Thank
You are
you.
invaluable and I am super proud of you. So keep
I'm
it
always
going.
blessed. I'm
All
blessed to
right.
have you and blessed for you always to welcome me back.
All right, do your thing. I'll catch up with you soon, okay?
Thank you. Have a good one.
All
Bye
right,
bye.
bye.